Welcome, 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 everyone. It is time for Crypto Journeys, a series where everyone's journey is different, but crypto can be for everyone. Today, we're going to welcome our guest, Mr. Henze Gustave. Welcome, Henze.
Hello, Angela. How are you?
Doing great today. How are you?
I can't complain. It's a beautiful day, as you can see behind me.
Wish we were there.
Yeah, of course, of course.
We are bringing you Henze today, you guys. Henze is with a couple of different businesses. I was like, you are one busy man. Henze, tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about yourself, please, whatever it is you'd like to share.
Yes. First and foremost, I appreciate you having me on, and of course, everyone that's tuning in. Appreciate you tuning in and learning this information and a little bit about me. So, for myself, I am involved in a lot of different businesses and a lot of different sectors. So, primarily, with my crypto journey, I am part owner of Dream Traders FX Academy, where we provide information and educational resources on the foreign exchange market as well as the cryptocurrency market. Just things along the lines of what resources to kind of follow, where to get your news from, things of that nature. I also am involved in a consortium of Black-owned drone businesses. It is called Aerial Systems Group International, or ASGI for short. And it's just, again, a consortium of Black-owned businesses that are well versed in different areas in the drone space, but we all have the same collective mission to bring this technology to our underserved communities, primarily our Black communities. So overall, for right now, just to recap, cryptocurrencies and drones both are very, brand new industries in the sense that it's just kind of wide open for us to learn about and kind of eat up some market share of, whether that is creating your own businesses and employing your own friends to go ahead and provide drone services, which is what I did while I was in college. Um, or just being able to be an expert in that field and work with a company that is already in that drone space and provide your expertise in that regards. So overall, we're just bringing the technology to the underprivileged, underprivileged communities, and it's in the form of various things. So we have a pipeline that starts them from very young, starts kids or introduce kids to the drone technology at age 6. Yeah, our youngest cadet is 6 years old, and it goes all the way up to individuals in the professional space. So we take them young, we teach them how to code drones, how to build them. We host various camps that do the same. And from there, they move to our next course, which is the drone lecture pilot episode course. And what that does is it goes through everything that they would need to learn and know to pass the FAA Part 107 test in order to become commercially licensed to operate drones. And from there, through our commercial partners and of course industry partners, we refer them to be placed in different jobs that are happening across the country. So overall, that is the pipeline that we've built for ourselves and the consortium, and we utilize each one of our Black-owned companies to service each sector in each section of that pipeline. So I'm very, very involved in that. And next, I what XOD. So I'm also the director of partnership and part owner of Experience LLC, and our flagship product is XOD Network. So you can download XOD Network on your phone, on your Roku TV, Apple TV, LG, and Samsung is coming out later this month. So our main objective at Experience is ownership. That's it. We ourselves are 100% Black owned, right? We pride ourselves in that. And of course, we're looking to offer ownership or, well, we're looking to offer distribution,
Mhm.
but making sure that the content creators like yourself, like anyone else who's posting on YouTube, etc., that those content creators are retaining 100% ownership of their content. Too often we read or see in the news that someone can't do XYZ because their label, or they can't get out their
Mhm.
contract, things of that nature.
Right.
And for the simple fact that within your contract there's a level of ownership that was given up for whatever that payout on the contract was. One vivid example, that I have is Nick Cannon and his show Wildin' Out. um,
Okay.
Everyone in their mother knows that that's Nick Cannon's show, but per the contract, it isn't.
Wow.
Viacom owns that, so there's a legal battle that's going back and forth with that, and it's to the point where, with the technology that we have, with the capabilities that we have right now, the ability to be able to speak to someone in a different location directly
Right.
without any intermediate, that in itself is kind of taken for granted. Because if you think about it in a granular aspect, why do you need a label or a middleman, or a middle platform in a sense, to facilitate your or to facilitate the distribution of
Right.
your content? Right, there's no need when you can go direct to your consumer, when I can speak directly to my fans, where I can house my thing in one place and have people be able to purchase or download or enjoy my content all from one place. And that's what Experience offers. We offer exactly that while making sure you keep 100% of your ownership to that content. So overall, that's what we pride ourselves on. But we provide a whole host of services to help that content creator. So it's a one-stop shop overall. Definitely check us out at experience.tv. You'll definitely get the full picture on what exactly we do for the content creator. But I think that's pretty much all that I do for right now. I mean, I'm yeah heavily involved in drones, cryptocurrency, media distribution. Yeah, I think that's it for now. And aside from my other hobbies and such.
Oh, you have time for hobbies with all
Oh,
that?
yeah, at times. So I just make sure that things connect well. So I may have a hobby that I enjoy, but of course it's connected to making me money, connected to, one of my businesses and such. So now I'm actually enjoying, it's not work at that point. I'm just enjoying life, and it just so happened to have some monetary benefits at the end of it.
Absolutely. That's the goal, right? Hobbies that generate income.
Of course. Yep,
Right.
that's what I'm focused on.
So, Henze, tell us what happened that made you pay attention to cryptocurrency?
So I got into crypto by accident.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, like, very, very early on. So while I was in high school, I used to like jailbreak and root people's phones for them. So be able to, and people that, I mean, I'm pretty sure most people are familiar with like jailbreaking an iPhone, but most people aren't familiar with rooting an Android. But it's pretty much the same thing. Well,
For,
actually, rooting is much better. But
wait, but for
I'm
those of
sorry.
us who don't know, what is jailbreaking an iPhone?
So it's pretty much like bypassing some of the limitations and security features that Apple put on the phone, so you can get like
Okay.
some extra apps or be able to download different things to make the phone do cool things. That was it. But with Apple, their security was pretty high on those phones anyway.
Hmm.
I always preferred Android because, in a sense, I can wipe everything off of an Android phone and rebuild it however I want it.
Okay.
So for the longest, those that play video games, the boot up graphics and stuff that was on Call of Duty Modern Warfare, that was how my phone booted up.
Okay.
Like, so instead of it showing like Sprint or Verizon in the beginning when you booted it up, like I would just have that graphic, like little things like that. I mean, I was
Right.
in high school just
Right.
playing with stuff, and people thought it was cool, and they was like, hey, can you do that for my phone? And they would pay me. So some of the softwares, some of the firmwares that I needed, some of the ROMs needed that I needed for the phones, I had to get from the dark web. And at that time, they only accepted Bitcoin, right?
Wow. Okay.
So I'm like, okay, so I need to exchange my US dollars to this dark web money. And because that's all I referred it to. Because at the time, I mean, I always had a mind for investing and like had a business mindset.
Hmm.
Shoot, I could remember at 3 years old, not 3 years old, at 7 years old in third grade, asking my teacher how to invest in Google, and she
Wow.
didn't know.
Wow.
And no one around me knew. I mean, shoot, my mother at the time didn't know what Google was, right?
Mhm.
And so I was always curious, just never knew how to go about it. I always thought like, okay, I gotta wait till I'm an adult or something to eventually learn about it. Which once I got to be an adult, I found out, hey, there was kids at my age at that time that was introduced to this at home or
Right.
whatever, wherever the case may be.
Hmm.
And so it was just a unfortunate type of event because like I remember going to Amazon's website back in third grade and thinking to
Wow.
myself like this looks like Barnes and Nobles and I hate it because I didn't like reading. But I was just always curious at the fact that hey, this company's growing, or these .com companies. I even remember pets.com. Like a lot of people was like, what is that? Like I was part of those .com companies, and I attribute that to this one computer teacher that I had in third grade. Like he always taught us all the latest stuff in computers or whatever. And at
Okay.
that time, I mean, that was pretty early in the game in a sense because not everyone at the time, I don't even think people had computers in home like that,
Right. Right.
right? Not everyone had a computer like that at their homes, or they were buying the big Macintoshes, the
Right.
see-through ones, and those were costing a lot of money themselves.
Hmm.
So I do attribute it to that because overall that sparked my curiosity. But to fast forward to the whole drone piece a little bit into high school, I literally was just exchanging it for what I needed, right? To get the pieces that I need to build out this this
Mm.
uh, this
Okay.
phone, this device, whatever, right? And I accumulated a lot of them because I mean I think like the first time I purchased Bitcoin, it was at 13 cents.
Wow.
And that
Wow.
exchange, yeah, that exchange got me a whole bunch of them. But again, I wasn't thinking about it in that regards. I didn't
Hmm.
do any, I never even did research behind Bitcoin. And I remember when Mount Gox went down and I sold the last batch of Bitcoin that I had. For those that don't know about Mount Gox, there was one of the biggest crypto exchanges. That's where everyone was buying everything. If
Okay.
you needed to exchange your your Bitcoin after mining it into US dollars or something else, you would go send it to Mount Gox. That's just where everyone would send it.
Okay.
So Mount Gox got hacked. Fortunately, I wasn't part of the hack, but I ended up just selling all of the Bitcoin that I had because the news of, oh, it's, used on
Right.
Silk Road and it's used for this and that. I was just like, all right, let me not get myself in trouble for going to the dark web. Like I was only in high school. I'm just like, all right, let me not get my parents in trouble and all that.
Right.
Because my mother's Haitian, I know she would come in the room and just just beat me just cause, right? So I was thinking about it like that. So I just sold it. I think it was over 600 Bitcoin at the time. And at the time too, the price
Wow.
had went up and I'm like, okay, I'm in high school. Like I just made me a couple $1,000 like off of
Mhm.
this thing, just from me doing this business stuff. So, I was content, not knowing, right?
Right. Right.
So for a while, even during college, like I never even revisited Bitcoin like it was to the point where like I barely had even remembered what the coin was called
Okay.
in the beginning because I was just exchanging it US dollars for this coin, but I knew it was coin something like literally that's how naive I was to it.
Hmm.
It wasn't until one of my friends called me and was like, hey, you still in Bitcoin? It's shooting up to it went up to, I think he said like $600 or something like that. And I'm like, oh no, I had sold a whole bunch of it because of XYZ with Mount Gox and all of that. And he basically was trying to convince me to get back into it because he was like, yeah, like I'm about to go drop $10,000 into it. And I was like, bro, you're crazy. Like I
Right.
was only doing this little by little, but
Mhm.
I'm like, it's like internet money. But I started thinking about it just practically because at this point, I was already starting to invest like
Mhm.
into stocks and everything.
Right.
I wasn't, I don't know how I missed the whole crypto space while I was doing stock research and stuff. Like it just
Mhm.
didn't occur to me that the thing that I was in not too long ago is blowing up.
Mhm.
And so he kind of convinced me. He even came to my mother's house. We sat in the living room. We was talking about it for hours, and he showed me all the growth. And he showed me the first instance of it going from $200 to $1,000, and the profits he made off of that. And he was like, yeah, I've just been into this because his brother introduced it to him.
Okay.
So it's the money that got me intrigued again.
Right.
But here's what had me stay into it, because there's a difference. Just like with a lot of people now in cryptocurrency, the money is what attracts them. But a lot of people tend to leave the space once that money isn't that attractive anymore.
Mhm.
One thing that I think people fail to do is they fail to do the research, right?
Mhm.
Why? I mean, I understand this thing is going up and it's making money, but why is it making money?
Mhm.
Once you start to get into that rabbit hole of learning about it, right, doing the research about it, that's when you start to realize, like, oh snap, this is the only real true money, right?
Right.
That's what happened with me. It was just like the concept of what I would like money to be, or what people think money actually is.
Mhm.
It isn't, right? Our paper dollar doesn't work like how we think it works.
Right.
Well, a lot of people don't even know how it actually works.
True.
And so I put two and two together, did a pro and con type of comparison with, okay, our current financial system versus what Bitcoin is proposing. This is a better solution, and it's all done autonomously. So that's what piqued my interest, and that's what kept me into crypto. Was just that, hey, this thing is a way better dollar. And of course, the icing on the cake is just that, hey, this dollar is outpacing the real dollar. So I'm making a
Mhm.
lot more gains on this side.
Right.
So not to be too long-winded on
No,
that
no, it's fine.
question,
It's
but
fine.
that, that's the overall journey for me in it. And yeah, I kick myself every day for selling in front, but at least, like, I would say, it's still early, so at least I got into it. At least I'm glad I got back into it when my friend told me. This was like late 2016, 2017, because I got back in fully with the knowledge, but it was during a bear market. So
Mm.
2017 to 2018 was the peak, and then from then to basically now we're in
Mhm.
that bear market, and I was in that bear market. So there was sideways movements for months at times. Shoot, I think we sat at like 6,000 for like a whole year
Yeah.
before we came back out.
Mhm.
And so all of that, it was just me doing research, me just accumulating, me just like, okay, this thing is for real. Let me just grab me some more and some more of it, and that thing has paid off, and it's still continuing to pay off.
Very interesting journey. Definitely different than any other person I've interviewed thus far. The dark web piece, that was different. So,
Yeah, for sure.
thank you so much for sharing that. And of course,
Mhm.
as you said, a lot of people hear a lot of things, they don't really grasp the full scope of what cryptocurrency is. So if you had someone
Right.
around you who said, well, kind of like what you told your friend, I don't think I need to do it, or, nah, you better leave that alone. Cause we all hear it, all of us in this space. So what would you tell someone who would say something like that?
Well, okay. So I've been I've been getting that a lot, and I had to basically realize that one, people are afraid of the unknown, right? People are afraid of change overall. So that's understandable that I will be met with that kind of, pushback. And of course, too, for our people, our Black people, we're not accustomed to being in a space early, right? We're not
Mhm.
accustomed to being the first to doing something or having majority in a particular space. So we always take the, all right, well, go make it happen and let me see the results and then
Right,
I'll jump in.
right.
I
Very true.
mean, that's always been our mentality overall. And it's not our fault, but it is our fault if we're going to continue to stay in that mindset.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, there's lots of money being made overall in cryptocurrency. And even with a latest opportunity that I brought to you with the helium play,
Mhm.
I've brought this to a lot of individuals. And because it kind of sounded too good to be true, it's sort of like okay, go show me the results and
Right.
then I'll jump in.
Right.
Well, by then, things might have already been gone, yet the income potential might have already been gone, or the opportunity just gone altogether, and
Mhm.
then we lose out until it is forced down our throats on, where it's not favorable to us,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
If you can get ahead of something, you can always make it favorable to you. So
Mhm.
the response that I always give people is to do your research.
Mhm.
Just research it, because at the end of the day, there is nothing that, you know there's nothing that's going to hurt you by just learning something new. In fact, you die the day you stop learning. So overall, it's like, at least learn about the space and
Mhm.
then do your proper analysis on it. All right.
Right.
Too often we're manipulated by our favorite rappers and musicians and such, just telling us, hey, I got into this, you should too. And we jump on it,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And that that overall mentality is just something that we just have to break as a whole. And for us or anyone else who may be looking to present crypto to someone or present any opportunity overall, just understand that those three things. Like, one, people are always scared of change. Two, our Black people, we're always skeptical of what's to come.
Mhm.
And three, just be patient, because overall, I often say I let people make their own mistakes. All I can do is just present the
Right.
opportunity to you, right? Just like people would say, all you can do is bring the horse to the pond, you can't make it drink.
Right.
Um, and I do that just as like a checkbox to myself. So when this does work out, you can't say I didn't tell you.
Absolutely.
Because 5 months ago, I was right here trying to show you what this was all about. And of course, too, you just have to have that relationship with someone. You just have to, um, you know, don't just present it one time because they said no, like you just frustrated about it. Then, they they kind of see like they won in that sense. Like, if you tried an approach where they got frustrated and you was just like, okay, and went about your business, they would be curious, like, as to why you weren't pissed off in the begin with, to begin with.
Right.
So
Right.
overall, I just look at it as, um, someone that would tell me, hey, um, I can't get into this, or I don't want to do this, or hey, be happy with what you're doing. I heard it all. I
Mhm.
would just tell them, just hey, just do the research. It's all out there. I know there's an abundance of research, and I can certainly help you to decipher that. But overall, I think, like, doing the research, that's not going to cost you anything, but in fact, enrich you in something that you don't know nothing about. So now you can be more knowledgeable to make that decision on yes or no. So that's it.
That's a really good point because it's true. When I started getting into cryptocurrency and reading about it and trying to understand it, I just understood finance so much better, just
Yep.
overall,
Yep.
because of the impact cryptocurrency is having and seeing why it's having that impact globally. So it's true. Just if people would just take some time to grasp the concept and see what it's about, it is enriching. Even if they decide not to ever buy one Satoshi, but they still have the information and the knowledge and the understanding. So that's a really good point. Thank
Hmm.
you for that. So I want to thank you so much, Henze, for being here today and sharing your crypto journey. And of course, you
Yeah.
and I will be talking as we're working on a couple things together. So,
Hmm.
and really glad we connected because you have a lot of great insight as well as great information and connections in this space. So I'm truly appreciative of that and of you sharing with me. I'm grateful.
Yeah, no doubt. You're definitely doing a lot of work in this space. And of course, it all aligns with getting our people educated on this, educated on new opportunities so we could take advantage of something. Like, I just want us to be, the leaders in something and we actually own that something, right? When you think
Right.
of Black people overall, there's certain um, genres of things or professions that immediately come to mind, right? Being a
Mhm.
basketball player or doing this and that, a rapper. But even in those spaces, we don't own ourselves
Yeah,
in those spaces. So at the very least, I feel like cryptocurrency is about that real ownership and true ownership, because if they can't control your money, they can't control you. So
absolutely.
that's how
That's
I
the
look at
bottom
it.
line. Bottom
Yep.
line, absolutely. So thank you once again. I'm going to let you get on with your evening. And thanks everyone who tuned in. We had a couple comments on Facebook. Oh, my mom joined. She said impressive as you were telling your story.
Oh,
And
thank
Miss
you.
Liz.
Hey.
Hi, Miss Liz. So I want to thank you once again. Thanks everybody. This will be posted to YouTube so you can watch it over and over and over if you like.
Yep.
And just remember crypto journeys where everyone's journey is different, but crypto can be for everyone. Everybody take
Hmm.
care. Have a good
Bye.
evening, Henze.
You too.